guys, welcome back here to Advanced Bass Fishing, and really appreciate you guys coming by the channel and checking out the video. And guys, today I'm going to talk about how to handle a spinning rod. And when I'm talking about handling a spinning rod, I'm going to talk about the way that I cast a spinning rod, the way I set the hook on a spinning rod, the way I manipulate my lures on a spinning rod, because this is an art form and there's a lot to it. So we're going to dig into that in detail in today's video, and I can promise you guys, using some of these tips is going to make you catch a lot more fish, so we'll get into that today. And also guys, at the time of filming this video, we are in the middle of April, and we are smack dab in the best time of the year to fish the Megabass Magdraft. Guys, this is the funnest bait that you'll ever fish in April. It's absolutely awesome. They make it in 4 different sizes. I'll put my Megabass Magdraft link in the description of this video and my Tackle Warehouse link if you guys would like to pick up a few. But just get you some natural colors. I mean, they make a bunch of different good natural looking colors, you know, like this gizzard shad and stuff here. And just fish it anywhere you think the bass are at in the springtime of the year. I mean, shallow water, fishing it around targets, fishing it on points, anywhere that you'd fish a spinnerbait, a crankbait, wherever, they will bite the thing. And the best window on it is like if that water visibility is about 2 to 4 foot. That's going to be the best water visibility zone. Most lakes have that water visibility, so definitely check that out. So really appreciate that. Okay guys, I use the spinning rod at least half the time in my fishing anymore, and I have for quite a while. There's so many techniques that I've adopted to use with my spinning outfit, really based upon the improvements in spinning tackle. For example, you know, I use all Megabass rods, and Megabass makes a lot of different options as far as action and stiffness and, you know, how fast or how soft the tips are. So you can fish a lot of different techniques on it. You know, in the past, we didn't have the options with a spinning rod. You know, there was like 1 or 2 different actions. Most of them were 6 foot long, and now we've got spinning rods between 6.5 to 7.5 feet long with lots of different actions. So it opens up a lot of different potential techniques to fish. And the advantage, guys, of fishing a spinning reel or a spinning outfit over a bait caster, there's quite a few on it. Number one is you can use lighter line. You can make longer casts with a lot of different baits on it. You have a sense of feel and sensitivity that you do not have with the bait caster, and you can manipulate and you can fight the fish differently and better with the spinning outfit. So that's a lot of the advantages. So let's talk a little bit about the equipment first, and I'm gonna get into the more. Let me give you one big tip, guys, as far as on a spinning reel when you get one, and I'll link my favorite one, guys. I use this you know, a lot of different ones, but this Lew's is one of my favorites. I use Cast King 2. Regardless of what you want to use, guys, is you want to use a large diameter spool. This is called a 3000 series spool, and a lot of the spools come in 2500 series or 3000 series or 4000 series. 4000 is too big for fishing. 2500, a lot of people use it, but it's not what you want to use because the diameter is smaller and you can't cast as far and you can't hold as much line. So get that 3000 series spool. It'll save you a lot of problems. And then most of the time, for 90% of my spinning rod fishing, I'm using the Megabass. This is the Megabass Whip Snake. It's a sort of a medium action, a little bit on the heavier side, 6 foot 11 inch, which I consider like the perfect spinning rod length. A lot of times if you use a spinning rod over 7 feet, it limits your techniques. Like you can't work a 7 foot rod like with a jerkbait real good, but the 6'11" is my favorite. Okay, now let's talk about the cast. First of all, the cast you need to master with the spinning outfit in order to maximize this. There's quite a few different ways to cast it. If you want distance out of your spinning rod, learn to cast two-handed for distance. So what I like to do is I'll put, you know, I'll just hold up my right hand, I'll put my left hand on the butt, and I cast just straight overhand like that with it. That gives you the momentum and the power for distance. So I'm using a two-handed cast like that. That's about the only time that I do use a two-handed cast. The other type of cast that I have are a sidearm cast. I'll make a sidearm cast right-handed like that, and then I'll go also backhand like that. And the sidearm cast, a lot of times, it's for a little bit shorter distances or skipping something. A lot of times, if you use a sidearm cast, you can get your bait to land a little bit quieter than the overhand cast. So I cast like this most of the time. I'll cast one-handed, side-handed like that for most of my fishing with that, because I can control it. I can keep the bait low to the water. It's just comfortable with me. And the only time that I use the backhand like that is if I'm positioned in the boat where I'm sort of awkward. I'm trying to like skip it up underneath a lay down tree or something. But skipping on a spinning rod is so much more effective than skipping with a bait caster. And then finally, guys, I pitch and flip it. So, you know, I'll just take my bait like that, and I'll just pitch it and flip it just like that, like I'm flipping stick. Now, this is something I'm doing if I want to be real precise. Say, for example, there's a boat dock, and there's like a little lane next to the dock. Sometimes I'll just take it and I'll just pitch it down the side like that. And you can be very accurate, you know, for short distances by learning how to pitch it. So those are the basic casts that you want to learn. Now, manipulation with it, the spinning reel, this is one of the reasons I really like it, is because you can manipulate it with your wrist and get action on a bait that you can't get with a bait caster. So if you're trying to finesse something out, let's say that you're, you know, if you're a live scope or you're shaking a minnow, you know, you can finesse it on a spinning rod better than a bait caster. If you're a jerkbait fisherman like myself, you can do a lot of different, you know, types of twitches. You can twitch and you can vibrate like that. You can jerk it hard. You know, you can put as much action as you want with your wrist on there from the underhand position that you cannot do with a bait caster. You can also pull it. You know, a lot of times if I'm fishing a shaky head or something, I'll cast it out there and I'll shake it like that a little bit, and then I'll just pull it like that. And it does not feel the same on a bait caster. You cannot duplicate it. You can't get the sensitivity whatsoever. Now, hook setting is another thing on a spinning rod that you have to get a little bit different. First of all, you're using light line. You can't rear back and set the hook hard on these things. Most of the time on a spinning outfit, what I'm doing is if I'm getting a bite, like on a slow bait, like say I'm throwing a Ned rig or a shaky head, you know, little worm, drop shot or something like that, I just pull back and start reeling real fast like that and keep reeling fast. You don't want to loosen up on it. You want to keep driving that hook in. The only time that I set the hook hard, let's say for example, if I make a long two-handed cast and my shaky head's way out there, since I'm way out there, I've got a lot of line stretch. And at that point, I'll rear back and I'll set the hook traditionally hard, because if that bait is way out there, I've got so much length and so much slack that if I set the hook hard, it's still not gonna be forceful enough to break the line. It's like, if I make a long cast, like with a shaky head on an 1/8 ounce, you know, head, I could set the hook literally as hard as I want to with 6-pound line, and it's not gonna break it because of the stretch there. So that's another thing to remember about the hook set. And then finally, this is one thing, and a lot of guys freak out when I say this and they get all bent out of shape. This right here is one of the most important features on a reel, guys. This is your anti-reverse back reel, your spinning reel when you're fighting a fish. I tighten my drag down, I don't even use it, and I back reel all the time, because when you learn to back reel, you can put the absolute bare minimum amount of pressure on a fish or the maximum. It's all, you're in complete control of it. It's not, you're not relying on a drag that may be a little loose or a little too tight. One of the things that cracks me up, guys, is I see these Elite Series dudes, you know, using braided fluorocarbon. They got their drag locked down, they got their anti-reverse, you know, off, and they're peeling line like that when the fish runs out because they don't trust the drag. Learn to back reel, and you're going to land a lot more fish with it. So anyway, guys, just a few good tips that I have learned the spinning outfit that really helped me out. Try them out. I think it's going to help you guys too. So we'll talk later.